toy fans, Aaron here. Today, as you saw by the thumbnail and description, taking a look at the vintage collection release of Luke Skywalker Yavin, or Ceremonial Luke Skywalker. One thing to note, a lot of the listings I've seen for this has it stated as a Walmart exclusive, but if you're on the hunt for this, just know that you can also find it at Dorkside Toys and also Big Bad Toy Store. So you're going to have a few options of where to look for picking this thing up. Looking at the card, things are looking pretty nice. Get a good photo of Luke Skywalker after he just received his medal. Through the blister, of course, you do see the figure with the included accessories. On the back side, top right corner, you can see he's number 151 in the lineup. And then below that, you got a total of 10 figures being shown off here that are available right around now. Bottom half of the card, as you know, is just a bunch of legal information. Taking a look at the figure out of the packaging, and you may think that this is just a reissued figure from the 2013 release, but that is not entirely the case. Put those two figures up side by side, and as I mentioned, the 2013 release, that was available in the Black Series line. And what we're getting with this vintage collection release is a brand new head sculpt, new hands. The forearms comes from the vintage collection release of Ponda Baba, but the torso and the legs of the figure remain the same. And overall, I think between the two figures, this is a great improvement over that previous release. And focusing just on this newer figure, looking at that head sculpt a little bit closer. As I mentioned, this is an all-new sculpt, and things are looking pretty good. This is one of the better sculptings of Luke Skywalker that I've seen. The hair sculpting looks great. The painting for the face, I feel like it's still a little too pale. Not as pale as previous releases, but maybe it's just me, maybe it's my lights, I don't know. Otherwise, though, the rest of that painting, of course, it is that photoreal application, so it's looking pretty good. Eyebrows are a little bit off, but otherwise, I think the eyes themselves are painted on right where they need to be. I do have some little dark splotch on the side of his mouth that I can't get to come off, but I'm sure that's a one-off type thing. Through the chest and the arms, the jacket sculpting's looking pretty good. I do like the coloring this time around. It also isn't as pale as it was in that previous release, and it's also not as bright of a yellow color as we had on other releases. So I think this is a nice in-between look. Of course, you got some subtle wrinkles and folds being sculpted in there, so that's all looking great. You can see that ribbing detail down the sides of the sleeves of the jacket. Hand sculpting, as I mentioned earlier, is looking much better this time around. Feels a little more proportional to the figure. You kind of have some off purple stripes being painted on the outside of that jacket and then running right down the center of that seam. That painting's looking pretty good. Along the back side of the jacket, nothing really special to show off here. Just some nice wrinkles once again being sculpted into the jacket. On the inside of that jacket, just a simple black shirt being shown there. Just below that, you can make out his belt with the holster sitting off to the side on his right leg. Nice little silver paint buckle detailing in there. And what you aren't going to see underneath this jacket is there is a little peg hole for his included lightsaber to slide into. That holster on the right side of his hip does function. You can slide the included blaster into there, no problem. The strap around his right thigh is attached to that holster, but it's loosely sculpted, and as you'll see when I go through the articulation, that's not going to hinder any of the movement through here. Pant sculpting and detailing is looking good. The yellow stripe painting on the outside of the legs is looking great also. And then for the boots, the nice glossy shiny black boots. A little bit of a higher gloss than we had on that previous release, which is quite alright by me. I mean, this is his hero moment. He's getting his medal. I don't know, I think overall it's a pretty fine looking figure. As far as articulation, head's going to swivel all the way around. You're going to get some movement forward and back. And also you're tilting side to side. Arms raise up pretty much straight up. That's a wide range of motion there. And of course they do a full 360 swivel. Elbows bend up pretty much 90 degrees and you get your rotation in there. You got your swiveling for the wrist. You get a full swivel at the waist. And for the legs, since this is based on an older sculpt, you're only getting your forward, but they come straight out. And he even bends back pretty far. And then for the knees, you got your single joint bend in there, but giving you a good 90 degrees. And you have your rotation. As for accessories, you got 3 of them. Starting first with his medal, you got some nice brown painting being done for the strap running around his neck, and then the medal itself, a pretty decent gold paint job. As far as the sculpt, for as small of detailing as it is, I think it's looking pretty good overall. Does fit nicely around his neck. Next up for the included blaster, we've got, I guess we could still call this Leia's blaster. Certainly what it looks like, but it is indeed what he had on his side during that scene. So pretty decent sculpting for it. It certainly looks like it should. Aside from that black color of the plastic, there's no other special painting or weathering to it. Fits well in his right hand. You can see he's got his index finger sticking out to slide into the trigger. And if you prefer, you can certainly slide that into the holster. And then for his final accessory, you get his lightsaber hilt. Sculpting's looking pretty decent here with all the little buttons and knobs and stuff sculpted in right where it needs to be. Some black stripes painted in for the handle. No problem getting him to hold that in his left hand. And as I mentioned earlier, you got the little peg off the side of the hilt. So you can just tab that in on the side of his belt. So overall, for me, this is at least a very good update to that 2013 release. I appreciate that more was done than just adding photoreal painting to an already existing sculpt, and they gave us a much improved sculpt for this release. I also like the adjustments that were done with the different sleeves for the jacket and the change in hands. So everything just, it looks like it fits better on the figure now. So that wraps this one up. Definitely let me know what your thoughts are on this figure in the comment section below. And as always, thanks for watching.